ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिधि नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नित्यानंद नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेमानंद प्रदायिने कलौ कल्मषनाशाय जानवापते नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतुसे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Let's discuss. Hare Krishna. So we are discussing from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse number 59. 59, no? Yes. Chapter 2, verse number 59. This is one of the very important verse in Bhagavad Gita. It explains the principle how one can overcome desires for sense gratification from the heart, not just artificially, but from the heart. The concept of second chapter, very oh, दूसरा स्पेस है इतने सारे टैब चैप्टर 2 यस विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिना रसवर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते. So though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense object remains. This is a fact. So should we not discuss this verse very elaborately in order to become free from the desires for sense enjoyment completely? Because artificially, a person, we discussed this yesterday very elaborately, so I'll just mention it very briefly. So artificially, a person may restrict himself from the activities of sense enjoyment, but still the taste for sense objects remains. So one may ask this question, or although this is very clear, why a person wants to restrict himself from sense enjoyment? Because this is a fact experienced by anyone who is into sense enjoyment, that as one engages in the activities of sense enjoyment, it only results into frustration and miseries, because the more one fulfills the desires for sense gratification, it increases the desire more. It's like fire and pouring ghee or petrol upon fire. So it increases instead of extinguishing the fire, it increases the fire more and more. The fire of lusty desires increases more and more if it is given the sense enjoyment opportunity. Just like a person who desires to accumulate a certain amount of wealth. So after accumulating that particular amount of wealth, the desire to get more increases, and actually it is applicable for everything, even in spiritual life also. Person who desires to serve Krishna in a certain manner, and after doing those services, the desire increases more. But in a spiritual circle, when this lolyam is there, this greed is there, that instead of giving miseries and frustration, it gives a spiritual bliss. And instead of binding the living entity, it liberates the living entity. Whereas in material world, material existence, this desires for sense enjoyment, the more one fulfills, tries to fulfill it, the more it increases, And with the increment of this desire for sense gratification, it binds the living entity more and more into material existence, and the person becomes more and more frustrated and miserable. So, if we at all want to liberate ourselves from material entanglement, if we at all want ourselves to become free from miseries arising from activities of sense enjoyment, so we must take very seriously the instructions or the solution given by Krishna in this particular verse. And the solution is, first of all, we have to understand what is not the solution. Then only we can focus more on what is solution. Because of the influence of Kali, Maya, our dull-headed sometimes cannot understand that what is not solution. So uh, this attachment for sense enjoyment, the fulfillment of this desire for sense gratification is never the solution. It is going to increase only. So why one should act in a way where whereby one becomes more and more attached for these sensuous activities, sense enjoyment. Rather, the duty of person is that he should restrict himself completely from supplying the key, supplying the fuel in the fire. Is one thing one has to do. But simply doing this is not going to fulfill the purpose because still the taste for sense objects will remain. That's why Lord Krishna is giving the perfect solution. Seizing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, then he can be fixed in proper consciousness. This is param drishtva nivartate. Param means superior, far superior thing. Drishtva means by seeing or experiencing. Nivartate means he is completely freed from uh, this attachment for sense enjoyment. So listen very carefully. Param Drishtva, Param means Krishna. Krishna has been addressed in Bhagavad Gita as Param. Arjuna said in 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. Param Brahma. My dear Lord Krishna, you are Param, you are Brahma, or you are Param Brahma. Pavitram, you are purest of all pure. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. So Krishna is Param, that Param. जिस परम की यहाँ पे बात की जा रही है, that is Supreme Lord Krishna himself. So it says Param Drishtva. So Drishtva means seeing or experiencing or realizing. So when one realizes Krishna or sees Krishna or experiences Krishna, that is Param Drishtva. And what does it mean, Drishtva or experiencing Krishna? It means one who is able to release Krishna's beauty, Krishna's form, Krishna's beautiful form, Krishna's name, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's pastimes. That is the meaning of Drishtva or experiencing. Experiencing or realizing Krishna means that the first step of realization of Supreme Lord Krishna is to understand who is Krishna, Tattvata. That is the first beginning stage, first step of God realization, or here Param Drishtva. Param Drishtva means experiencing the superior thing, or spiritual, or the greatest superior object is Supreme Lord Krishna himself. Nothing can be superior than Krishna. Krishna himself said, Mattaha Parataram Nanyat. Beyond me, there is nothing superior. So Param refers to the supreme, supreme. So Krishna being the supermost, uh, supremely supreme, supremely super. Whatever you want to say, is supreme. So Param actually means Krishna, and the first step in this is Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yovetti Tattvataha. To understand that Krishna's birth and activities are transcendental, whatever Krishna does is beyond the scope of three modes of material nature, and Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He has Sachidananda Vigraha, and he is the source of everything. He is the cause of all causes and all effects, everything. So that is the understanding of Param. And then, after understanding, one should act in a manner by which one can relish or and have the taste of the Supreme Param. Because until unless one has the taste for the Supreme, one cannot seize the taste of material things. Uh, because since time immemorial, from uh, last many millions and millions of birth, we have been tasting the dull, the dull and material activities, material sense enjoyment. This inferior, inferior taste of sense gratification. We have tasted it. We have just not heard it or seen it. Maybe in this birth we have not. Some of us may not have tasted the third class sense enjoyment, but certainly everyone who has this material body, have tasted this nasty kind of sense enjoyment in this material world. So, in order to become free from the taste, uh, this taste, ras varjam, rasopi asya. Ras means taste, mellow. So, although one may externally cease to act in sense enjoyment activity, but the rasopi asya, but the rasa or this material taste remains. So, in order to destroy this taste, the antidote of material taste is spiritual taste. Antidote of material understanding. Material understanding means dehatu buddhi. Actually, it is not a perfect understanding. It's illusory understanding, misconception. Dehat buddhi. Dehat buddhi means one who cannot think anything beyond this material existence. That is dehat buddhi. So, considering oneself to be this material body, this is understanding. So, material understanding, antidote for material understanding is spiritual understanding. When one develops spiritual understanding by uh, reading Bhagavad Gita, hearing Bhagavad Gita, then one can overcome this material understanding that I am this body. One can become free from this material understanding of the Bhagavad Gita. So, right, sir. But so that is antidote for material understanding by this spiritual knowledge. Similarly, then the next step is material taste. So the material taste, the antidote or antidote means how one can overcome material taste. So material taste of sense enjoyment can only be overcome by its antidote, that is a spiritual taste. A spiritual taste. One has to actually taste, and that is the reason why there are few transcendentalists who develop perfect understanding of the spiritual nature. Those who are known as Brahmavadis, Nirakarvadis, and impersonalists, Mayavadis. So some of them, after great endeavor, after doing great austerities and study Vedanta philosophy very analytically, so they come to this spiritual understanding by which they are able to overcome material understanding. They are able to overcome the Hatha Buddhi. They come to the platform of Brahman. Uh, but still, the desire for sense enjoyment they cannot overcome. And it is seen that even after reaching to the platform of Brahman realization, such Mayavadis or Nirakarvadis, Brahmavadis, they still sometimes it is seen that they fall down again in the activities of sense gratification at material level because although they could overcome material understanding through spiritual understanding, they got the antidotes for material understanding. They situated themselves in a spiritual platform, but because they could not find the antidotes for material taste for sense gratification, so that's why they again fall down. And Lord Brahma says this. Ye अन्य अरविंदाक्ष विमुक्त मानिनस त्वयि अवविशुद्ध ये अन्य अरविंदाक्ष विमुक्त मानिनस 1 minute. I'll show this verse, but before seeing this verse, I want to ask, uh, till now, whatever we discussed, how many of you could understand this? Yes, please raise your hand. Okay, anyway, I'm proceeding ahead. So this verse I'll show you, that even though one may develop the spiritual understanding very properly, Brahman understanding, and by this spiritual understanding, one may be able to overcome uh, this material understanding. But still, ye anne arvinda vimuktamaninas, ye anne vimuktamaninas, Lord Brahma says in Bhagavatam, uh, ye anne arvindaksh vimuktamaninas, त्वय्यस्तभावाद विशुद्ध बुद्धया आरुह्य कृच्छ्रेण परम पदम ततः पतन्ति अधो अनादृत्युष्मदङ्ग्रयः. So Lord Brahma says, O lotus-eyed Lord, although non-devotees means anyone who is not engaged in loving service to Krishna. He may be Brahmavadi, Nirakarvadi, Jnani, Mayavadi. They all are in the category of non-devotees. So although non-devotees who accept severe austerities and penance to achieve the highest position may think themselves liberated, their intelligence is impure. They fall down from their position of imagined superiority because they have no regard for your lotus feet. Because they disrespected the lotus feet of the Lord. Now, or in other words, it is said, because they did not develop the taste, the spiritual taste, so they fall down again. Uh, Patantyadha is the word, which means Aruya Krishrena. Krishrena means with hard endeavor, with great difficulty, they rise to the platform of Parampadam. Parampadam is Brahman platform. But Tataha means from there, Patantyadha, they again fall down because Anagrit Yushmadangraya, they disrespected your lotus feet, means they neglected to serve the Lord, they neglected to because of neglecting the lotus feet of Krishna. And so they cannot experience the spiritual taste. So the important point why I quoted this verse is that even though a person who may develop a spiritual understanding, but if he does not taste, develops the spiritual taste, he cannot overcome material taste. He must fall down again into the activities of sense enjoyment. That is for sure. So if so, try to understand. It is a very important concept because we find many times, especially younger generation, they in order to overcome one particular type of this material taste or material sense gratification, they try to take shelter of another kind of material sense gratification taste. But that is not going to help you because this is not the solution. You can only overcome material taste for sense enjoyment by developing spiritual taste. The spiritual taste is a must condition. Lord Krishna is very clearly saying in this verse, you cannot means prove Krishna's words wrong. You cannot prove it wrong. Krishna says, Param Drishtva. Param means beyond material. Param means spiritual. When you Param Drishtva means when you taste spiritual, then only you can overcome material taste and become free completely from desire for sense enjoyment of any type. But till the time, uh, that's why the example has been given of those impersonalists, those jnanis. They perform such great austerities that they give up all material taste. But simply because they do not develop a spiritual taste, they again fall down. Even sometimes to the worst kind of material taste, sense gratification also. So that's why it's very important for all of us to develop a spiritual taste. And what does a spiritual taste means? Actually, a spiritual taste means to taste Krishna in very simple words. Uh, it has nothing to do with sense gratification. Try to understand. Material taste means sense gratification, but to taste Krishna means to release Krishna, to taste sweetness of Krishna's beauty, to taste the sweetness of Krishna's holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. when one can just taste it. Taste means, what does taste means? Taste means experiencing Krishna through his holy name, experiencing Krishna through his beautiful form, experiencing Krishna through his qualities, experiencing Krishna through his pastimes. That is the meaning of tasting or releasing Krishna through his different aspects. And the meaning of experiencing Krishna through his holy name, form, pastimes, and qualities. The meaning is to be with Krishna, uh, to have constant association with Krishna in the form of his holy name, form, qualities, and pastime. So when one is actually in association with Krishna all the time, so there is practically no possibility that he can get deviated or distracted by any kind of this material taste. And this is what is experienced by the great Sri Vaishnava Acharya. I have already quoted this many times, but again, let us take his example because it's very inspiring. I don't know about others, but at least for me, it is very, very inspiring. Yada avadhi mama cheta Krishna padara vindayo. So Srila Prabhupada quotes this in ninth canto, uh, ninth canto, 18th chapter, 39 verse. King Yayati asked for because he was not satisfied with sex urges. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada quotes this verse. Yadavadhi mama cheta Krishna padara vinde. Yadavadhi means since the time mama cheta, my consciousness, is fixed. My consciousness is not just fixed, is releasing taste from Krishna padara vinde. From the lotus feet of Krishna, there is a kind of very sweet honey emanates. It's very tasty. So, Krishna's lotus feet are the source of such wonderful and unlimited, immense nectar, which a devotee, a pure devotee, whose heart is completely immersed in the remembrance of his lotus feet. Remembrance means smarana dasa. In the remembrance of Krishna's lotus feet, through the chanting of his, either through the chanting of his holy name, or hearing or chanting of his pastimes, qualities, and form. So such a devotee, Nava Navarasa Dhamane Udyatam Rantumasi Tadavadhi Batanari Sangame Smaryamane Bhavati Mukha Vikara Sushtu Nishtivanam Cha. So Navanava Rasa, he gets a newer and newer taste and simply by remembering Krishna's lotus feet. So that is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. That is the beauty of spiritual taste that one can experience newer and newer taste. Whereas in the material world, material taste, there is no new experience, only that the same third class insignificant experience is there. That's why over the period of repeated sense enjoyment, any particular sense enjoyment, the person becomes bored out of it and he wants a variety, a newer and newer variety. And to be very frank, especially the sex enjoyment, nobody is satisfied in this material existence having the same kind of sex enjoyment. That's why these so many extramarital affairs happen. Because the person is not satisfied with one partner only. That's why he wants newer and newer in variety. But he's such a fool, he cannot understand that simply by replacing the variety, the taste is not changed. The taste, same material, third class taste is there. Simply by changing the variety, it does not make any difference. Because he's so full, he cannot understand it. Just like an animal. An animal is such a foolish person that he cannot understand that I cannot find water there. So he thinks that I will find water there somewhere else in the mirage, in the desert. So, because he's a fool, he cannot understand. Similarly, anyone in this material world who is having animalistic intelligence or foolish intelligence, so he cannot understand. He thinks that I am not satisfied with this kind of material taste and gratification. Maybe I can get satisfaction with another kind of material taste. But that is not going to happen. But when one experiences the taste of Krishna's lotus feet, then that is Navanavaras Dhamani. Then Tadavati Bhatnari Sangame Smaryamane. Even the thought of sex pleasure with a woman, it's is disgusting for me, and I spit out at that thought. Since I have been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, realizing ever new pleasure in him. Whenever I think of sex pleasure, I spit at the thought and my lips curl with distaste. This is called spiritual taste. It's just like something, if somebody, suppose, who is tasting very nice sweet rice in our temple, Radhara's very nice sweet rice is served. So, with that sweet rice, if you get something very bitter in between or dust particle. So, how you become very disgusted. Similarly, a devotee who is actually who is actually having a spiritual taste by remembering Krishna's lotus feet or by serving Krishna's lotus feet, whenever even the thought or the opportunity for material sense gratification comes, he becomes distasteful. He is completely disgusted from this. So, the purpose of this session is that we should become firmly convinced, and with this conviction, we should develop this willingness factor that I will overcome all the taste of material sense gratification simply by developing a spiritual taste of Krishna consciousness. So, for this end, I am going to do whatever is required. If by chanting very attentively I can develop a spiritual taste, I will chant very attentively. If by coming in association of devotees, by reading Bhagavatam, by hearing Bhagavatam, by serving Krishna, by doing book distribution, I can develop taste for Krishna, I will do so. And if by avoiding, very strictly following four related principles, Krishna is going to be pleased and Krishna is going to bestow me his spiritual taste, I'm going to do this, even if it is very uh, difficult or austere for me. I'm going to do this. So this should create conviction in our heart, and we should develop willingness factor to develop param drishtva, means taste for Krishna. So when we can taste Krishna in his variety of forms, so we can overcome all this nasty, insignificant material taste given by Maya in the form of sense gratification. Okay, with this we'll stop. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If you have any questions, you can ask. If no one is getting satisfied, then why they are again and again indulging in this material taste? So the first part of your question is, so I'm asking the question. The first part, do you really get satisfied uh, in experiencing material taste? Don't lie, huh? You have to speak the truth. You cannot hide. You should answer it. Second part, I'll answer. Why then again and again people, those who are uh, in material taste, they get again and again, uh, they again and again indulge in this. So the reason is because I already explained this, because just like an animal, because he's an animal, he's such a fool, he cannot understand this. That's why he thinks that maybe I'm not getting water in this place, but I may get water somewhere else. But he's such a fool, he cannot understand because I am in desert, so there is absolutely no possibility of getting water anywhere I run. Similarly, those who are having dull intelligence, like a foolish intelligence, like an animal, they cannot understand this. That in the entire material existence, this is like a desert. There is nowhere there is happiness. Only it's a illusion. I am thinking maybe I tried this way to get material taste, happiness. I did not get it. So let me try another way. Go this direction. Maybe through this means I can get some satisfaction. So it's the same thing. Animalistic intelligence. This is one point. Another point is because even if a person who is able to understand this, that in the entire material existence, by any means, I'm not going to get any spiritual, any happiness, any satisfaction, but still, if he is entangled, that means he is very weak spiritually and he is unable to control his mind and senses. Mind and senses are practically dragging him there. But such a person can be saved because at least he has developed this intelligence. He is not having the animalistic intelligence, that he has understood that there is no happiness at all in any kind of sense enjoyment. So such a person, although he may be weak spiritually, then he can turn himself towards the association of devotees and towards the Supreme Lord Krishna. And by intensely chanting the holy name, by doing sadhana bhakti very perfectly, and by remaining very close in the association of devotees, he can develop spiritual strength and then overcome all this material taste. Uh, so you are asking, मतलब यहाँ खुशी नहीं है? That is what I am asking. What you understood till now from so many years. Bhagavad Gita clearly says, Krishna very clearly says, Dukhalema Shashvatam, there is no happiness at all in this material world. The only happiness in material world, please listen very carefully. The only happiness in the material world you can get is that when you give up the desire to get happiness in this material world, that is the only happiness. Uh, so give up this. Don't run after this. The sooner you give up the hope of becoming happy in this material world materially, the sooner you'll experience peace of mind and the sooner you will become eligible for experiencing spiritual happiness. हाँ, so that is up to you. आप डिसाइड करो कब तक चाहिए आप। गुलामी में खुशी है, भगवान की गुलामी, वट एवर यू अंडरस्टैंड, जिसको जैसा लेना है आप समझो। भगवान की गुलामी समझो या जो भी समझो, माया की गुलामी तो ऑलरेडी कर ही रहे हैं ना। सो व्हाट इज रॉन्ग इन कृष्णा की गुलामी करने में? कृष्णा इज सो वंडरफुल, नाइस मास्टर, सो लविंग अफेक्शनेट। उनका गुलामी, टाइम हो गया है, उनका गुलामी मतलब uh, उनका सेवा करना। ओके, हरे कृष्णा, विल स्टॉप हियर, आई हैव अनदर क्लास।